but always incorporate a black swan in the financial model and in the business. I think this is key. And not only incorporate it, but plan for it. My name is Mohammed Azab. I'm an Endeavor entrepreneur since 2012. Been with Endeavor for the last 10 years. I'm on my third company. First business was a medical lab space. It was a medical lab business in Egypt, where we expanded that business to about 40 branches, expanded to Morocco after that until we did our first exit. It was about 500 employees, small to medium-sized business, but this was the beginning. Second business that I started, Siha Healthcare. Started that the last 5 years, building one of the top 4 hospital platforms in Egypt. Post-COVID, it became more of a tech-enabled business. Third business that I started is Grinta. Grinta actually means grit in Italian, which is perseverance. It's part of the DNA of the founding team. And we're building a B2B e-commerce platform to digitize the pharma supply chain across the continent, where we would fix and would play a role in fixing the accessibility and affordability of medicines across the continent. I'll tell you about my journey for the last 10 years. I don't really believe there's a right formula, but I can only share my experience and I'll tell you what I've learned, right? And hopefully it works for you. So the first advice is always read the landscape and plan for it. And what I mean by that is you put multiple scenarios. You know, we've built businesses in the past, but we've never counted for like a black swan event or like, you know, like COVID or like any other, like a revolution. So I've built businesses during a revolution and during COVID. So that's a lot of learnings along the way, and it wasn't that easy. But always incorporate a black swan in the financial model and in the business. I think this is key. And not only incorporate it, but plan for it. So you got scenario A, you got scenario B, you got scenario C, because when really, you know, shit hits the fan, you're not gonna go back and start planning. You know exactly what you're gonna do. And so I'll give you an example with when COVID happened, and it was early stage. And 2 days later, we already had a plan in place. We cut costs, we minimized certain things. We had the playbook ready for it. So one is plan for multiple scenarios and incorporate a black swan or a big event in the model. Second, I would say, is fail fast, learn fast. In the past, I was very patient with a lot of, you know, the key management team. They're not performing, give them a chance. Well, while it's nice to keep on developing people, but at a certain point, you have an obligation. And if something doesn't work, just don't keep on pushing it. And that's my experience. So fail fast, learn fast. When you're building a fast growth company, hire people for 1 or 2 years ahead and not hire people that you need them now, because you'll be growing quite fast and you don't want to be in the same place, you know, in another year. So hire ahead. Another important point is you want to match the right investors with the right stage of the business. Historically, I've done mistakes. I brought top-notch investors in an early stage venture that I built, my second company, and there was a clear mismatch. These guys were coming from, you know, Wall Street, expecting certain management reporting, investors update, and we were not ready. We were still even hiring a CFO. So there was a clear mismatch. And so it's important to have the right investor for the right stage of the business. And I learned there's, you know, they call it the 3 V's when you look for investors or even partners. So you want investors to bring value, you know, the value added. You want investors to have or share the same vision with you, because you don't want to bring somebody on board who has a different vision to the business. And third, and most importantly, is that you share the same values. Some investors, they would ask you to do things that against your values to grow the business, for example, and you might not like that. So I think it's crucial to focus on the 3 V's when you're choosing the right investors. So during the journey, I've learned a number of things, not only from managing the businesses, but through Endeavor, I was able to go to this 1-week HBS course. Then I did that. Then after that, I did this 3-year program, which was fantastic, transformational, and Endeavor helped me a lot with that as well. And in the very last session that we had in that 3-year course, the chair of the program, it was a very emotional, you know, after 3 years. So he's saying, these are the 5 words or the 5 pieces of advice that he was passing to like the 140 people in that program. First one was take the shot. Take the shot, and he referred to Michael Jordan saying, Michael Jordan always have taken the shots in the very last seconds of the game, and he lost 27 times, but he won 100 plus, right? So the idea of taking the shots and being the leader and being the one that your teammates, your partners gonna look for you and look that you would lead and just push them to the very last second. So take the shot. Second is protect your balance sheet. And the professor here was, referring to cash flow. And he joked about it, and I know I'm not saying this is true, but he said cash is more important than your mother. And it's not right, but I'm saying that's how he was vocal about it, to protect the balance sheet of the company. Third was protect your family balance sheet. That always family would come first. Your kids, your significant other, your parents, family was always important, so protect the family. Fourth was protect your reputational balance sheet. It's business, it's important to always do the right thing, make a decent profit decently, always live up to your values. And the fifth one, which I think for me was transformational, and this is one of the reasons I've shifted from a brick and mortar company, second to a tech-enabled business, to a pure tech play, always be relevant. And the idea, that actually made me, it scares you, because time can go by and you're not relevant anymore. So the idea of doing executive education, investing in other companies, mentoring, you get all the information, not information, but you get a lot of wisdom, reverse mentoring to other entrepreneurs. So always stay relevant for me is crucial. And I'm always trying to develop myself. I'm always doing executive educations. I'm always investing. I'm always mentoring. And I'm happy that I'm building something now that I would have not thought I would build it, 5-6 years ago. So these are like the 5 words of wisdom that was passed through my professor to like almost 150 people. I hope you find part of it, or at least the 5 points are relevant to your business.